Let's talk food.
Oh, yeah. Let's do it.
You want to talk some college football food? Yes.
Absolutely.
Starkville, Mississippi. That's I'm not from there. I'm from 15 minutes north, but I am Mississippi State based. You ever been to Two Brothers?
I have been to Two Brothers. They do a very good job with because barbecue's tough these days because meat's so expensive.
Yeah.
But Two Brothers, because they do it in sandwich form and creative sandwich form.
Yep.
That it makes it where they can thrive in a very competitive industry. I'm trying to remember the thing I had there the
pork rind nachos, brother.
Yes, that's it. Oh yeah.
The pork rind nachos is what you had.
That is exactly what I had. That was the thing that jumped off the menu the first time and I ordered. But I also had some sort of sandwich there that was pretty spectacular, but I think it might have been a special that day.
Well, they have these duck sliders. They have these they're delicious the street tacos. Their smoked wings are wonderful and fantastic.
Oh, you know, it's the pulled pork grilled cheese.
Yes. Yes.
With it's Gouda and cheddar, and then they put jalapenos on it. It's spectacular.
Now let me ask you a question. Oh, go ahead. Continue. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, no. That whole area in Starkville has just really come up. What is it? Ben
612 is across the street. The
Ben
place
612.
The area is called the Cotton District.
Yes.
And it's got Bulldog Burger right there. Has a new pizza place right there. Commodore Bob's is right down the road.
Is that where the dog, the wiener dog running is going to be?
The wiener dog is going to be. The wiener dog race is going to be there. It's I can't wait. I'll talk about the wiener dog race later. All right, let's say I slid you a plane ticket right now, and I said, Andy Staples, here's a plane ticket, and here's $50. Go to exactly where you go get you the number one meal in college football for under $50. Where are you going? Where are you cashing that ticket in?
Well, I wonder if there's a private airfield in Tuscaloosa that I can drop in and just head to Northport to Archibald's and get a rack of ribs.
Really?
Wow.
50 won't get me 2 racks.
No.
But they'll get me a rack and a half. So that's pretty close to heaven right there. Because Archibald's, it basically looks like some guy's house.
Yeah.
And is burned down and like as all good barbecue joints have.
If it hasn't burned down once, I don't want to eat there.
Exactly. But yeah, those ribs are just spectacular. And it's one of those that, everybody says, "Oh, did you go to Dreamland?"
Yeah.
The locals
Right.
are happy to pass along that legend and let everybody go to Dreamland. They get mad when you start talking about Archibald's but the funniest thing is like some of the relatives have started it's kind of an offshoot. You got Archibald Woodrow's, which is actually a better location in terms of you're going to drive by it. You're going to see it from the road. So the locals are happy because even if you know about Archibald's, you still might go to the wrong one. And so it cuts down on the line at the real place.
The same thing happens in Starkville. Every time ESPN would do something, there was always Little Dewey. Little Dewey's a fine establishment, and I'm not going to hate on you if you go there. But people in Starkville didn't go to Little Dewey for the barbecue; they went to Petty's.
Yeah, see, I like Petty's better too. I went to Petty's once. I want to say it was I think it was 2010, the day of the Cam when Cam came on Thursday night.
We lost 17-14.
Week by Nick Fairley dominated that game.
Yeah.
But I ordered, they had something on the menu called Snoop. And I'm like, what's Snoop? And they're like, it's the face.
Snoot.
Yeah.
With
and I was like, all right.
Yeah.
All right. And it tasted like pig and it was delicious.
Yeah.
It's the face.
It's the nose and stuff. Yeah. Snoot.
And it tastes good. Wow.
Yeah.
What was the texture?
It was awesome.
Was the texture weird or
It's just like pork.
Oh, okay.
It was pig.
Yeah. Yeah. The whole animal, brother. The whole animal.
Nose to tail, baby.
Have you, Rooter to Tutor, have you ever had the cheese fries at Eskimo Joe's?
I have not.
Oh.
So I've been to Stillwater once. I went there for the Georgia game in 2009.
Yeah.
But then remember, I worked for Sports Illustrated, and I had nothing to do with the story, but there was a certain story or series of stories that got us banned from Stillwater for quite some time.
Yep.
So I didn't have I need to go now because I'm okay. I didn't write those stories, so they don't mind me. So yeah, I've covered their games on the road and talked to Gundy and those guys, but I do need to make a return to Stillwater so I can have cheese fries.
When we dip our toes into the food conversations and we ask the Roughnecks, the listeners, what place is the best to go eat, we get Eskimo Joe's cheese fries the most.
That makes sense.
And we haven't been there. I've never been there. We've been kicking around a food tour for 2 or 3 summers now. We just haven't done it yet. But I just think the food avenue of college football, when you talk about a good, because if you go to a college basketball game, you drive in, you go to the game, you drive out. College football is an experience that starts when you get on campus that Friday.
Oh yeah, it's a weekend.
Yeah,
and I love the places where you can kind of get every meal. That's why I think Athens is so great. For as small of a town as it is, you get, and Oxford's kind of the same way. Like in Athens, you can go to Mama's Boy for breakfast. There's a bunch of different lunch options, but like Pulaski Heights is good barbecue. You could do the Cali and Tito's, which is like a Caribbean place, but it's BYOB. There's a gas station next door. You get your 12-pack and hang out. And then you can do like the 5 and 10, all the Hugh Atchison type places for dinner.
sure.
And then in Oxford, you have the whole John Currence empire where you go to Big Bad Breakfast in the morning, go to snack bar at night. In the middle, I don't think Currence is involved in Ajax Diner anymore, but Ajax Diner is like the perfect meat and 3.
Yeah.
And they do a country fried steak sandwich for lunch that is one of the best things you will ever eat in your life.
Oh, the Oxford ones.
No, well, see, okay, so I am a reasonable guy, okay? I don't like Ole Miss. I hate Ole Miss. But I will never, ever crap on their food scene because it's pretty damn good. And if there's
well, Currence is an LSU fan, too. I don't think that helps in your mind, but it
didn't help even a bit.
Where he's from.
But Ajax, if there's a better restaurant in the SEC for SEC football than Ajax, I have yet to see it because it's a phenomenal place to just.
It's a perfect meat and 3, and the thing is, like, people outside the Deep South have no clue what that is.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Yep, neither do I.
Meat and 3 vegetables, boys and girls.
Yeah.
Meat and 3 vegetables.
It's so I was born in Columbia, South Carolina. They have a chain there called Lizard's Thicket.
Yeah.
The quality compared to a place like Ajax is not even close, but that's where we would go eat for lunch and dinner. Like that, my mom and I would always eat there. And so it was weird to me when I moved down to Florida and there was nothing like that.
Yeah.
Because like you pick out, obviously, I'm going to have fried catfish. I'm going to do butter beans. I'm going to do green beans. I'm going to do collard greens. And you're good to go.
Let me educate the New Yorkers for a second. All right, so you get there. There's going to be about 5 meats you can choose from: a pork chop, a baked chicken, a fried catfish, meatloaf. 4 or 5 meats.
Pork chop. The pork chop's got gravy on it.
Yeah, and then you're going to have 8 to 12 vegetables, and you pick a meat, 3 vegetables, and
vegetables. Are you including like mac and cheese and vegetables?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
hell yeah!
Classic
Mac and cheese is a
vegetable.
vegetable.
Yeah,
Yes.
no, anything that is not a meat is a vegetable.
Yeah, I like that.
Okay,
I like that.
And the vegetables, at least the good ones, have meat in them.
Yes, correct. The green beans have bacon in them. I haven't told you that part yet. But the green beans have bacon in them. The baked beans have bacon in them. So mac and cheese, cheese grits, all of that
Sounds
is
like
included.
a lot of veggies.
I mean, there's some corn. It's going to be creamed as hell, but it's corn.
So it's 3 sides.
I actually like the real vegetables, the green stuff, the turnip greens, collard greens, green beans, butter beans, lima beans. Like I'm a fan.
I'm not
of actual vegetables.
I'm not a greens guy at all. Which coming from deep South Mississippi, it's kind of one of the things I'm hated for.
I don't like coleslaw, so it's the same deal. So
when I say greens, I mean greens, not green vegetables.
Fair enough.
I mean collard greens, turnip greens, stuff like that, mustard greens.
Well, Brandon, you're from a turnip green part of the world. Like, so my mom's family's from Selma, Alabama.
Yeah.
And my grandparents grew turnips. Yeah. And so we get fresh turnip greens there. And you ask for turnip greens in even in the South, they'll look at you like you're nuts. But like, I remember I was at a barbecue place in Montgomery one time. It was a rib place and they had turnip greens on the menu. And I was just like, oh yeah, I want triple order turnip greens. Let's go.
So when I was growing up, my mom and grandmother would make collard greens or turnip greens because you got to cook them a long time. They would make them just so the house smelled like it. Wouldn't eat them. Wouldn't eat them. Would just make them. Would wake up on Saturday morning because that's what Saturday smelled like.
Okay.
They would about 8 o'clock. They just start them on the they're just in water over there and just all day they're going. And I'm sure my dad and my grandfather would eat them, but I never ate them once. But my house smelled like it every Saturday.
How far were you from Selma, Alabama?
About 2.5 hours.
Okay.
Selma's on the road going into Montgomery, kind of.
Okay.
Yeah, it's about 45 miles from Montgomery.
If you left Meridian and went straight east, that's where it would be.
As a New Yorker, what's the difference between turnip greens and collard greens?
It's like the difference in like certain type of like red potato and white potato. Like it's just it's just a difference. They're different types of greens. One's a lot more leafy, I think. One's a lot more spinach.
Well, and turnip greens are actually they come off the turnip plant, and
yeah,
we never use the turnip itself. I know other people do use the turnip, but like collard greens are actually related to kale.
yeah,
Like
that makes
kale,
sense.
kale is collard greens' fancy cousin.
Yeah,
Who lives in the big city.
and kale can get the hell out of here. Kale is the educated cousin that never comes to visit.
Yeah, I've never heard of turnip greens before today.
Oh, Kale? Well, he's at Harvard. We don't talk to him.
Kale's gross.